Are our morals and ethics just nice ideas and beliefs, or do they actually influence the life choices that we make? And how can our morals and ethics help us when we feel stuck? Whether we're bored with what we're doing, or tired, or we're fully burnt out. How can our morals and ethics help us get back on track? There tend to be some different definitions that people use. In situations like this, I like to set a baseline. When I say morals, I am talking about personal choices, personal beliefs. They might be influenced by ethics that we've been taught, and they might influence the ethics that we choose. And then ethics would be things that are agreed on by a group or that are prescribed by a group. My morals and everybody's ethics, because alliteration helps me remember. When I say morals, I am talking about my personal choices, and when I say ethics, I am talking about group choices, and they can influence each other. Got it? All right. Care of Earth, care of people, and return of surplus to the first two. These are the permaculture ethics. They're the main ethics I'm going to be talking about today. For me, I didn't adopt those ethics because they belong to permaculture. I adopted permaculture because I agreed with those ethics. That is an example, like I said, sometimes your morals influence your ethics and sometimes it's the other way. I like the idea, and maybe it's from growing up in Scouts or maybe it's just in there, that we should take care of the planet because it grows our foods and it makes our oxygen, and well, the trees and the plants make our oxygen, but we should take care of all of that because it takes care of us. And we should take care of people and animals because we're all connected. And the return of surplus to the first two, that one can get mangled by people sometimes, and that's why I like that wording of it rather than fair share. It means putting my plants into the compost. It means feeding my scraps to the worm or the compost or the chickens. It means closing the loop instead of letting things go to the landfill, which is the opposite of care of people or care of Earth. These are the main ethics that we're talking about today. With the move delayed, a lot of things that have been on autopilot for the last few years are now actual decisions to make, like what to do about the compost and the gardens and the chickens. I'd already made the design choices and the personal decisions and the ethical and moral decisions to go with it. I wasn't supposed to be here now. I have to start thinking about it all again. I got myself a little stuck for a minute there. And of course, things changed over the years. Gardens grew. This garden grew a whole lot. It started out about yay big. Gardens evolved, and I started new gardens, and I took some out. For the most part, things were on autopilot and driven by what I wanted. The necessities were already in place. It was easy, I guess is what I'm saying, in some ways. Not entirely. It's not easy to grow your own food. It's not easy to turn clay with no topsoil into gardens. But the difficult choices were made, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I kind of already mentioned it, but I think we'll reiterate. It's not, do I believe in this enough to keep going, that makes the ethical and moral decisions difficult. I personally have been living in burnout for the last several years. Sometimes it's okay, and sometimes it's really bad. Since that rest video that I did in November until like a few weeks ago, I was in really bad burnout where I had just pushed and pushed and pushed. And I thought I was pushing for the move, and then the move got delayed, and so I had to figure things out and shift gears, and I'm not good at shifting gears. We've talked about that. I found myself having to make ethical decisions and moral decisions, not because I didn't know if they were right or not, but because that was the only way to get myself to do things. I thought that I was going to be doing this spring's planting over there. And I did have a few weeks of executive dysfunction, basically, trying to figure out what to do. Because, obviously, I'm not gonna not start tomatoes, right? Or peppers, or herbs. But how many to start? Because normally, I start way too many. I start 50, knowing that I only have space for 20 at best. But I didn't want to do that. But also I don't know how soon I'm moving. So what do I do? Care of Earth says that I need to put roots in the ground and that I need to cover the earth. She needs covering to protect her. Earth that is covered by plants, when we have ground cover plants down, that can be 20 degrees or more cooler than exposed soil. So on this clay that I have spent the last few years trying to rehab, if I just leave it bare, it's gonna go back to that nasty hard clay. So Care of Earth says that I need to keep planting as long as I'm here. So that helped me. And it says that I need to keep the compost going. And it says that I need to keep the chickens going. That was a big help. But then, how much do I plan to plant here and how much do I plan to take with me? First I was thinking, well, I'll start 5 tomatoes to grow here, and then the 3 for my mom, of course, and then 5 to pot up and move with me. But that leaves me wondering, am I gonna be here long enough for the 5 that I put in to fruit and for me to collect from them? I don't know. But Care of People says that I just plant them and whoever's here when they're ripe will have fresh tomatoes to eat. It might be me. It might not be me. That doesn't matter. I'm caring for the earth by putting roots in the ground and leaves to cover it. I'm caring for people, whether that's myself or others, by having food here that's ready to eat. Now, as for the ones that I pot up, that's a tricky situation because, I mean, what if I'm not there in time and then they just sit in pots and go to waste? I don't know what to do about those ones. I haven't figured that out yet, but I can make new starts in July for fall tomatoes. And all of this applies to peppers and herbs as well, of course, not just tomatoes. You're not the only plants in the world, my pretty loves. I can do fall starts, and if I have to take suckers from the tomato plants to do fall starts instead of starting them from seeds, I can do that too. That decision became a little bit easier. And then I have all of these medicinal and pollinator plants that I've been starting that were supposed to go over there. And they can, but like a lot of them are hulking out of their pots and need to be potted up. Like this, by the way, this is lemon balm that smells like mandarin oranges. It's incredible. You can see that it is coming out the bottom of its pot. It needs to be potted up. I can do that. I can also fill out the gills that are here. So in 2022, we had months of drought, months of serious drought. And then we had a decent rain, enough to wet everything, enough to get the clay to soak up some of the water. And that was nice. And then a couple of days later, we had, it was 7 or 8 inches. It stayed soaked for days. Days, there were puddles. For at least a week, I could come out here and if I put a hole in the ground, there'd be water in it. So some things did not survive that. I lost a few monardas. This is Monarda fistulosa. This is the one that makes the purple flowers. It's also known as wild bergamot. I had a few of these that I lost. Well, now I have a few of these and I could replace some of them. So I'm gonna do that. And I lost a marshmallow at that time, and I've got quite a few of them now. And I have plenty of time to start more for the new property. So I'll probably put in some of these and go ahead and keep filling out those gills. And then the same thing for echinacea. This is a little baby echinacea. This is a purpurea. This is the medicinal purple one. You know, I'm having a little bit of trouble starting these from seed. I always have, but I have time now. And so I can add some of these to the gills here without losing anything. And I can keep caring for the earth that is here while I'm on it. And that kind of makes me feel better about the move being delayed. Not that I'm not excited to get out there and excited to start my new life and excited to start new gardens and just, it's exciting. Okay, it's really exciting. But I can make this earth better while I'm still here. I can keep working on it. I'm leaning on my morals and ethics to make those decisions, but there are things that I believe so deeply that it's not like, well, I'm not going to care for the earth because it doesn't matter anymore. It matters. It's just a matter of where to put my attention. And you know, it's really a matter of spoons. So for my spoonie friends, It's a matter of spoons, really. Because, yeah, I can do all of this, but it's going to take more spoons to start more. But it's not too big a deal. Like, I can put down a bunch of seeds, and if they come up, they come up. And if they don't, a pack of seeds costs about the same as a plant. So, not too much loss there. It might take me 30, 45 minutes to fully prepare a tray, make labels, and plant stuff. And on a really bad spoon day, that might be a lot. But on a good spoon day, it's not much. It's just a matter of working it out and planning it. But I do need to do it. And there are bees who need the food, like this. Can you imagine how excited a bee who only has dandelions and henbit right now would be to find this once it opens? This is the Colorado mix yarrow, by the way. And I think it's gorgeous. I guess the bottom line, what I'm really getting at, is that when we have ethics, morals, principles, values, whatever you want to call them, in place, it helps us to make the decisions that we would have made anyway at times when we feel stuck, when we feel exhausted, when we're in burnout, when we are dealing with executive dysfunction. We can fall back on the things that we believe and let those help us make choices. What is it that you fall back on when you get stuck? I would like to know. I'd be interested to see what it is for other people. But when you get like really stuck and you feel like you just are in a place of decision fatigue, what are your deepest held beliefs that drive you in hard times? I would like to know down in the comments if you don't mind. For me, in this weird season of limbo, I'm just gonna keep doing what I would have done anyway. I'm gonna keep caring for the earth and the people and the animals, and I'm gonna keep returning that surplus because that's really the only thing to do. For today, that means that I need to get some cucurbits into some soil blocks. I've got some squashes and some melons and some pumpkins and cucumbers here that I need to get started. I am gonna get on that. And if you wanna know how to make soil blocks, watch this video right here. I will see you soon. Thanks for hanging out with me. Later, y'all.